Hello. Hello. Happy Tuesday. Happy Tuesday, March 26th. I can't believe we're almost through March. Hi, Jan. I see Jan and Carolyn, Lynette are here. Cassandra. Hi, you guys. Tommy. Hi, Tommy. How are you? I'm assuming I'm on YouTube tonight, but I don't know for sure because Diego, the Wonder Wizard, is the one who does that. Um, let's see. Yes, we are on YouTube. Cassandra, Lisa Crosby. Hi. Hi, you guys. Hi, Joey. How are you? It's good to see you guys here. I'm always looking forward to our Tuesday nights, and especially when we have a monologue Tuesday nights, because we haven't done that for a while now. So it's nice to be back and be planning to do that. Before we jump into tonight's monologues, and I'm going to jump in pretty quickly just because we want to make sure we give enough time to each person. But wanted to let you know a couple of things coming up. April 7th, Blue Ridge, the series premieres on Cowboy Way channel. I really do think you'll love the series. I've been posting some trailers and things on my social pages, and if it interests you and looks interesting, I think you'll really like it. It's very well done. Jonathan Sheck is awesome, and the rest of the cast, if I do say so myself, but I'm a little bit, I'm a little bit biased. But anyway, Cowboy Way channel. I think it's cowboyway.tv that you can get that information, but that's coming out next week. So I'm actually going to be headed to Nashville for a premiere for that with some of the actors and crew, and Gary Wheeler, who is the producer of that series. And so that's actually a reminder that next week, Tuesday, we won't be live on Tuesday. I think we're hoping to go live on Thursday, but we'll be able to confirm that. But next Tuesday, we won't be able to go live because that is the actual night of the event. So just wanted to give you a little heads up, but we'll post on the socials more specifics about when we do plan to go live if we are going to substitute a day for that. So Carolyn, hi, Carolyn. Enjoyed meeting you. 2 Tuesdays. I know it went so fast. I can't believe it's been 2 weeks. Good, Tommy. Glad you found us. Hi, Carmen. Stephanie, hi. Good to see you. Hi, John. Holloway Nation. I always give you credit when I use the term Holloway Nation because you were the one who created that. So, hi, Michelle. Oh, the chosen. You're crying. I don't know if you're crying because the series made you cry or what, but anyway, hi Adam, it's great to see you. So we have 5 great people tonight who we're going to have monologues and do live feedback with. Hi Karen, Leona. So we have Allie Gibbs, Charles Babler, Madison Davis, Katie Bodenhammer, and Ulysses Laramendi. So we are going to jump right in. I hope you guys enjoy this as much as I do. And we'll jump right in with our first person, which is Allie Gibbs.
Hi there.
Hi, Allie. How are you?
Good. How about you?
Good. It's so good to have you with us. Thanks so much.
Thank you.
It's great to I appreciate when you guys are willing to come on here and go live with everyone. So it's exciting. So Allie, where are you based?
I'm in Coeur d'Alene, Idaho.
Oh, you're an Idahoan like me. I'm actually in Meridian, Idaho.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah. So I haven't made my way up to Coeur d'Alene yet though, but I plan to at some point. Great. And how long have you been pursuing acting?
I've been pursuing acting since I was about 7 years old. So yeah, I
Wow.
very much enjoy it.
Awesome. Well, wonderful. Okay, well, we're just going to jump in and let you do your thing and we'll just go from there.
Thank you. I loved going to the lighthouse during a storm. It's really a shame they want to tear it down. My brother and I, we used to run up there all the time. He would pretend to be the captain, and I would be his first mate. I never once doubted him. Not even when he tried to convince me that there was a pirate ship off in the distance. He totally took advantage of the fact that I'd forgotten my glasses. And one time during the summer, we stayed up there all night, just talking. I couldn't believe it when the sun rose. But no matter what, even if they do take the lighthouse down, I'll never forget how bright it would shine across the water. You can never tell anyone this, but the last time my brother and I were up there, I saw something. And he was asleep by then, so he doesn't know either. I think it was an angel. Or maybe I just really wanted to see one.
There we go. Sorry, I couldn't get back in. Diego has to let me in. And so there was a delay in him letting me back in. I'm going, was that the end? Was that, and you couldn't hear me?
Oh, sorry. I was just caught up in there. I thought there was more to it. Sorry about that.
Oh, man.
That's okay. We're going to do it again anyway. So that it's totally all good. First of all, I thought you did a nice job overall. One technical little thing, be careful about using whatever the surface is where your camera is setting, because when you were doing that, the camera was moving a fair amount. So you might want to rethink that. The look was good, but it made the camera a little unstable. So you might want to rethink that, even though I understood what you were doing and that was effective. If you had a different surface that you could maybe do that so that the camera wasn't affected, then it would work for you. So I would love to do this again. One of the things that we talk about a lot with regards to your audition pieces and monologues, and of course, just for everybody, I'm approaching these monologues as if you were doing either a self-tape audition or a Zoom audition, right? You're not auditioning for anything, but as far as the parameters and the lens through which I'm giving you feedback, it's as if this were an audition setting, right? So when we're talking about audition pieces, we always want to make sure there's somewhere to go, right? That we have some movement in the piece that keeps our interest. And so that would be the one note I would give you and challenge you with is it was all very nice and very well done, but I didn't get much movement. I didn't get a point at which maybe you became more amused by a memory or a thought of something, or a point at which you became a little more melancholy or really lost in your thought, because those things can give us different sorts of movement. And so I would love to see you think about that. Like, where can you be amused by a memory with your brother? Where's there a point at which you can just laugh at what you're remembering about him? And then when you do the line, how bright talking about the light shining across the water right
Mhm.
before you go in to talk about the angel. Let yourself get really lost in that memory. Don't worry about looking back at the camera. When you're really reliving a moment, you don't look back at the people you're talking to because you're so lost in your thought that you kind of forget they're there for a minute. So let yourself get really back to that place and the look of that on the water and what that evokes in you, because that can become the motivation for remembering the angel and feeling compelled to share about it, right? Because you put yourself back there and then you remember being visited by this angel, and so you decide to share it. Does that make sense?
Yes, thank you.
Okay. And then you'll want to be don't worry so much about making eye contact all of the time. Picture the scene, the lighthouse, the water, all of that as if it's down the horizon from you, because that way we still and maybe just, off camera. That way we're still seeing you. Your eyes are nice and open and we can relate to you. But it's different than when you're talking to whoever the person is you're having this conversation with.
Right. Yeah.
Okay. All right. Take a second to think about that and decide kind of maybe where you want to put those movement points.
Thank you. I loved going to the lighthouse during a storm. It's really a shame they want to take it down. My brother and I, we used to run up there all the time. He would pretend to be the captain, and I would be his first mate. And I never once doubted him. Not even when he tried to convince me that there was a pirate ship off in the distance, totally taking advantage of the fact that I'd forgotten my glasses. And one time during summer, we stayed up there all night. I couldn't believe it when the sun rose. But no matter what, even if they do take the lighthouse down, I'll never forget how bright it would shine across the water. You can never tell anyone this, but the last time my brother and I were up there, I saw something. And he was asleep by then, so he doesn't know either. I think it was an angel. Or maybe I just really wanted to see one.
Nice. Nice. I like that. It had a nice transition into the angel moment because we did see you a little more lost in thought and the memory, and this angel, I got a stronger sense that this angel moment was a very meaningful moment for you and that it meant something to you. And I thought that was really, and I liked the little giggle up front when you were thinking about something with your brother. All of those were really nice touches. You have a very relatable, natural way about you, which is wonderful. So you don't ever want to lose that and get, overworked or overwrought about anything, because that relatability, that naturalness is a real gift that you have.
Thanks.
But just those little subtle, the nice thing is that you were making the changes subtly, right? And if I wanted to amp you up, I could. Like if we were in an audition setting, it was like I want more, I would pull it from you. But doing subtle increments as you make changes is the way to do it. And that was really beautifully and tastefully done. Someone just said, Elizabeth said, I felt like she was letting me in on a secret. That's exactly right. It's exactly right. That's what that moment felt like. Because you changed the tone a little bit and you leaned in. And so we leaned in, right? So very nice job, Allie. That was great.
Thank you so much.
Yeah, thanks for being willing to do that with us. You did a really nice job.
Thank you so much for this opportunity.
Yeah, absolutely. Yay. All right. Awesome. Oh, I just love watching you guys do your thing. You're just all so talented. Okay, Charles Babler. Excited. One of our men folk. Hey, Charles, you're looking sharp tonight.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
Nice to see you.
That's to finally see you.
Yeah. Now remind me, Charles, where are you located?
I'm in Tacoma, Washington.
Okay. We are representing the Pacific Northwest tonight.
We
in
are.
a big way.
Yes.
That's awesome. And you've been pursuing acting for a long time?
Depends on what scale you use, I guess. But probably
Okay.
about 10 years stage acting, and then just
Yeah.
recently I transitioned into the film part of it.
Oh, perfect.
So,
Perfect. Nice. Okay. Well, wonderful. I'm excited I always appreciate seeing your name on our Tuesday family group. So I'm excited to see you
I'm
perform. So
excited to be here.
absolutely take your time and start whenever you're ready.
Thank you. Have you ever been to Kansas City, Miss Travers? Do you know Missouri at all? Well, let me tell you, it's mighty cold there in the winters, bitter cold. And my dad, Elias Disney, owned a newspaper out there. 1,000 papers, twice daily, a morning and evening edition. Dad was a tough businessman. He was a save a penny any way you can type of fella. So he wouldn't employ delivery boys. No. He used me and my brother, Roy. Now, I was only 8 back then, just 8 years old. And the winters were harsh. Sometimes, Miss Travers, the winters, they were up over my head. And we'd push through that snow like it was molasses. The cold and wet would be seeping through our clothes and our shoes. Sometimes I find myself down in the snow. I must have passed out or something. I don't know. And then it was time for school. And I'd be too cold and wet to figure equations and things. And it was right back out in it again to get home just before dark. Mother, she would make us dinner. And then right back out in it again for the evening edition. You best be quick there, Walt. Get those newspapers up on that porch and under that storm door. Papa's going to lose his temper again. You'll be finding yourself on the end of that buckle, boy. Now, I don't tell you this to make you sad, Miss Travers. I don't. I love my life. I think it's a miracle. And I love my dad. He was a wonderful man. But rare is the day that I don't think about that 8-year-old boy delivering newspapers in the snow. I'm just so tired, Miss Travers. I'm tired of remembering it that way. Aren't you tired too? Now, we all have our sad tales. Don't you want to finish the rest of the story? Let's just let it all go and live a life that's not dictated by our past. She didn't come to save the children. She came to save their father. Your father, Travers Golf. Now, I know you must have admired him a lot and loved him even more to take his name. But isn't that what this is all about? All of it, everything. Forgiveness. That's what I learned from your books.
Good. That's a long piece, and it's a beautiful piece, certainly. Okay, so let's talk a little bit about it. Let me ask you a couple of questions. So, and this is just from your perspective, okay? There's no right or wrong answer. This is from your thought process. So, why is he telling her the story about the newspapers?
He's trying to set a foundation, a comparable foundation of difficulty with comparing the two fathers with each other.
Okay. So he's trying to relate to her or find a common ground with her. He
wants her to see the common ground with him.
Right. Okay. Great. How would you describe his feelings towards her at this point?
Definitely a business relationship, but almost right there on that fine line of personal relationship as well. But it's more not a love interest by any means, but more of a mutual respect in business level, but a little bit more on the personal side.
Okay. The last question I'm going to ask you is, what is your emotional journey? So what I'll ask is, what are the 3 emotional beats that you, as your character, experience in this?
Oh, definitely loss.
Okay, so you're experiencing loss.
Struggle.
Okay.
But also confirmation.
Say the last one.
Confirmation.
Okay. So put that in slightly more emotional terms. So loss, I understand that. So there's a grieving or a loss that he's feeling.
Acceptance.
And then say that?
Acceptance.
Okay. All right. I get that. All right. So what I would love to do is to basically, I wanted to remind you what that emotional journey was so that you could connect a little more strongly to each of those emotions. So let us understand those moments where, as you tell the story, you're feeling the loss. And then let us understand those moments where you have a little more of the fighting spirit, maybe that struggle to keep going. And then the point at which you have accepted it. You've accepted what your dad was and how he was to you. And then when we get to the end, let us feel that personal connection. So one of the things I would love to play with is the pacing. Have the pacing be a little bit brisker in the beginning as you're telling the story. And then when you get a little more personal, you can take a few more of those pauses in there to really relate to her. But at first, when you're telling the story, help us get wrapped up in the pace of the story, because the story is talking about like we would do all of this stuff and it was hectic and it was hard. And then we'd have to go out and we do it all over again. So your pacing can help us get a sense of how exhausting that schedule every day was.
Sure. Okay. Thank you.
Does that make sense? So I'd love to just play with that and see. Again, these are not right or wrong definitives. These are, let's see how that plays out. If you play with the pacing, bring up the pacing in the beginning a little more, approach it and get lost in the story for a bit, and then relate to her, come out of it, relate to her on a very personal level.
Okay.
Okay.
All right.
All right.
Have you ever been to Kansas City, Miss Travers? Do you know Missouri at all? Well, it's mighty cold during the winters. Bitter cold. And my dad, Elias Disney, owned a newspaper route there. 1,000 papers, twice daily, a morning and an evening edition. And Dad, he was a tough businessman. He was a save a penny anywhere you can type of fella. So he wouldn't hire newspaper boys, delivery boys. No. He used me and my big brother Roy. I was 8 back then. Just 8 years old. And like I said, winters are harsh. And old Elias, he didn't believe in new shoes until the old ones were worn through. And sometimes, Miss Travers, the snow drifts, they were up over my head. We'd push through that snow like it was molasses. The cold and wet seeping through our clothes and our shoes. Skin peeling from our faces. Sometimes I find myself, sunk down in the snow because I must have passed out or something. I don't know. Then it was time for school. Right back out in the snow. I was too cold and wet to figure equations and things. Then had to go right back out in the snow again to get home just before dark. Mother, she would have dinner ready for us. And it was right back out again for the evening edition. Best be quick there, Walt. Better get those newspapers up on that porch and under that storm door. Papa's going to lose his temper again. You find yourself on the end of that buckle, boy. And now, I don't tell you this to make you sad, Miss Travers. I don't. I love my life. I think it's a miracle. And I loved my father. He was a wonderful man. But rare is the day that I don't go thinking about that 8-year-old boy delivering newspapers in the snow. And old Elias Disney standing there, belt in his fist. I'm just so tired, Miss Travers. I'm tired of remembering it that way. Aren't you tired too? Now, we all have our own sad tales. But don't you want to finish the rest of the story? Let's all just let it all go and live a life. It's not dictated by our past. She didn't come to save the children's. She came to save their father. Your father, Travers Goff. Now, I know you must have loved and admired him a lot to take his name. But isn't this what it's all about? All of it. Everything. Forgiveness. It's what I learned from your books.
Nice. Good. That felt much more personal to me. I don't know if everyone else felt the same thing, but I liked the places where you got a little, a little smile or a little reminiscence. It did feel like you were getting a little more in touch with that little boy. And so I definitely felt a difference from the first to that read right there. And I could tell that you were making an effort to connect with her and I did feel the difference from the story to then I'm just going to talk to you, person to person, child to child. And I felt I could feel that difference. So I think you're on the right path with that. I think the more that you would do that and continue to really allow yourself to um, really live in those moments, it would only get stronger. But yeah, big difference from the first read to the second read. And I thought it was very personal, very relatable. So good work.
Thank you.
Yes, better. Felt more personal. So yes, you're getting encouragement from the Holloway Nation. So thanks again. Love the hat, by the way.
Thank you. Thank you so much for the opportunity, Bev. I really appreciate you and Diego for this. It's such a
Yeah.
rare opportunity that you could get like this, and I just hope more people take advantage of it.
Yeah,
Not-
I'm excited. You're awesome for doing it and for, sharing your talent with all of us. So excited and appreciate it. Good job.
Thank you.
Awesome. Well, that was great. Wonderful. I love seeing such a wide variety of actors and styles and ages and all of that. It's wonderful. Okay, so our next one is Madison Davis. Hello, Madison. How are you today?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm good. I'm good. So your background looks great. That's
Thank you.
nice. Your lighting's good. So where are you located?
I am in Bradenton, Florida. It's just south of Tampa Bay.
Okay, so you had to break our Pacific Northwest little coup going on and go completely across the country to
Yep.
Florida. I love it. I love it. Have you lived there your whole life?
Most of it. I moved down here with my family from Ohio when I was like 7. So
Okay.
most of my
So
life.
it's most what you've known. Okay.
Mhm.
And have you been pursuing acting for a long time? Is it something new for you?
I've wanted to be an actress since I was 11 years old. So I grew up doing like all the school theater, all that school had to offer. And up until now, God has been really good. So yeah.
Oh, that's awesome. That's great. Okay. Well, wonderful. Well, I say we play. I appreciate you being willing to share with us and to play with us. So I see Marjorie Brown saying, "Go Madison, that's my best friend."
Yes.
So you already got a wonderful supportive audience in the
I
house. So that's
do.
great.
Awesome.
Um, okay, Madison, take a moment, and whenever you're ready, you can just go ahead and do your thing, and we'll talk after.
May I start off screen?
Please, sure.
Well, I thought I should introduce myself. My name's Lucy Eleanor, and I think you should know that your family thinks we're engaged. Surprise! Never been engaged before. This is all very sudden for me. Look, what I really came here to tell you was that I didn't mean for this to happen. I don't know what to do. I mean, if you were awake, I wouldn't be in this mess. Oh gosh, not that I'm blaming you. I'm sorry. No, it's just that when I was a kid, you know, I always imagined what I would be like, or where I would be, or what I would have when I got older. And normal stuff, like I'd have a house and family, things like that. But not that I'm complaining or anything either, though, because I have a cat. I have an apartment, sole possession of the TV remote, very important. It's just that I never had anybody that I could laugh with. You ever fall in love with someone you've never talked to before? Have you ever been so lonely that you spent the night confusing a man in a coma? Good talk. And bye.
Good.
See.
Good, Madison.
Thank you.
That's a nice piece. It's always tough when you do things that could be iconic. Now it's an older piece, so not everyone may know it. But you want to be mindful if you choose a piece, and this is kind of for everybody. If you choose a piece that either was from an iconic movie or a performance, such as a Sandra Bullock, you want to really make sure that you are taking a unique approach, which you did. Actually, your performance was was very different from the way that she approached it. So that is a positive for sure. Couple of technical notes I just want to say real quick. I would, first of all, at the beginning, it's fine for you to take the time out of frame. I would maybe try to shorten that a little bit before you walk in. Try to kind of get yourself in that place a little sooner, and then when you come in, much shorter before you say your first line, because, and this is just from an audition standpoint, not from a performance. Like if you were doing a stage version of that or you were actually filming it, it might be very appropriate to take that much time. But when you're using it as an audition piece, that much time of silence on the very front end before we've even heard a word is too much. Okay? Because we're left wondering, is this intentional? Is she not, like, we're not quite sure what's going on. And you can help that a little bit by maybe adding in some physicality to that moment, which is either looking around or showing us you're unsure of yourself. I wasn't, of course, I didn't know your piece. So I thought we were in sort of a horror situation or a scary situation. That's how it was reading to me. And so you might want to be mindful of that. So either showing us a little more nervousness or awkwardness as opposed to what did read a little like fear. But she is afraid. I mean, obviously she's it's an awkward situation. So I get a little piece of that. Once I knew the piece, then those beginning moments had a better context for me. But just understand, we won't necessarily know the context. So be mindful of those first opening seconds. If they're nonverbal, then use them to give us an understanding of what your character's feeling, the environment, something like that. In this particular case, I think maybe you could benefit from understanding that he could wake up at any moment, a nurse could walk in at any moment, a family member could walk in. So you don't have all the time in the world to have this conversation. There are kind of outside pressures that would cause you maybe to be a little more self-conscious, if that makes sense. And so we feel that push and pull, that kind of tension of just the exterior environment that is playing into the scene. Okay. So that's one thing I would say is let us understand that a little bit more. And so I'm going to ask you, similar to what I asked Charles, what is your emotional journey? Tell me where we start, where we go, where we end emotionally with just emotional words.
So in the beginning, I start out remorseful and anxious. I do
Okay.
maintain remorse throughout, but in the beginning, I start out a little anxious and I try to cover it up with playing it like as a light joke, but then I'm like, okay,
Okay.
this is
Play
serious.
that up more. Play the contrast between being nervous and awkward, contrasted with making a joke out of it, making light of it, because that will help the pacing in the beginning be a little quicker, so that we have a variation in pacing, and so the scene has somewhere to go and kind of breathe. Okay. So, all right, I like that approach in the beginning. So I would say even lock into that even more. Then where do we go?
So then at the point where she says, I never met anyone that I could laugh with, that's kind of like the peak moment of the performance where she feels humiliated and exposed, like I'm lonely and I have no friends and I'm a loser. Now you know.
Okay.
So that's where
Okay.
she starts being really down on herself and ends on a low
Okay.
note.
So so the actual feeling is what?
The feeling is I had the word. It was exposed. Would you call
Okay.
it?
Which is like vulnerable.
Vulnerable, yeah. That's good.
Okay. All right. All right. Then really lean into that vulnerability. Help us feel that. And the vulnerability should feel different to the awkward, I'm going to make a joke out of this. So that's where if you can increase the pacing in the beginning based on the awkward, nervous, I don't really know what to say. And then when you become vulnerable, that's when you can take that moment because it's become more personal to you at that point. Okay. And then where does it go?
At the very end, I maintain that. I decided to just keep that because that's towards the end where she says she's gonna go. If is that what you're asking at the end?
So we start with awkward, remorseful, kind of going to try to make a joke of it, to vulnerable and kind of lonely. And where do we go?
I don't think I really changed it, I guess.
So
I mean, that's
where could we go? Then let's talk about that. Where could we go?
Okay. Well, I definitely don't want to go up in spirits as a
I
start.
understand that. Yep, that makes sense.
So, if I can think of a rejected level of
Okay.
sadness.
Is there a level of acceptance of it? Like someone just mentioned, at peace with it, like you've just accepted that's
Yes, she does.
your place in life?
Yes.
Because being vulnerable is different than resigning yourself to accepting it,
She
right?
does accept it, yeah.
Okay, so let us feel that difference between exposing yourself for the first time, which is the vulnerability, to I'm just accepting it. It is what it is, and I'm just accepting it. I can't do anything about it, and it is my life, and I'm just accepting it. Okay, so let's try that movement. All right. Okay. Anytime you take your time, but anytime you're ready.
Well, I thought I should introduce myself. My name's Lucy Eleanor. And I think you should know that your family thinks we're engaged. Surprise! Never been engaged before. This is all very sudden for me. Look, what I really came here to tell you was that I didn't mean for this to happen. I don't know what to do. I mean, if you were awake, I wouldn't be in this mess. Oh gosh, not that I'm blaming you. No, I'm sorry. It's just that when I was a kid, I always imagined what I would be like or where I would be or what I would have.
I'm gonna stop you. Okay. Because you need to come in even sooner. Less time up front. We don't need it. We just don't need it. What we need to is to get to you, and I'm not feeling a joke. I'm not feeling you trying to cover it up with a joke or be lighter. I'm feeling very morose, and we get to morose later when you get to the vulnerable. So this should feel very different for you. Okay? So, I want you to be awkward, and you're trying to let's try the idea of someone who, when they feel awkward, they just talk, they just keep talking and they say things and then they think, oh my gosh, why did I just say that? And I don't really know what I'm doing. Let's try that a little bit. And trying to keep it light. So with literally physically with a smile on your face, so that, because what I'm feeling like we're starting a little too slow and a little too down, that we have no place to go. Right? So try it again. I'm okay with you starting off frame. I know there's some question as to whether that's okay. I personally don't have a problem with you starting off frame, but when you come in, look around just a couple of seconds and then go right into it. Okay. And just think, I'm covering this up. I'm awkward so I keep talking because I'm trying to cover up the fact that I don't know what to say. Okay. And have a little more fun with it in the beginning. How absurd this situation is, because it really is, right? If your best girlfriend was telling you this is what happened, you'd probably be laughing at her. Right. So think of who was your best friend who was like going, my best friend in the comments. Yeah,
Mary Jo.
think if she had told you, if she said, Madison, you wouldn't believe. I went to this guy and he's in a coma. And so I started, you'd be laughing. Right. So if Mary Jo was telling it would be amusing how absurd it was. Right. So think of that. Okay. Think you're talking to Mary Jo and you're telling her this story, how absurd it would be. So relive it kind of that way. Okay. All right.
Well, I thought I should introduce myself. My name's Lucy Eleanor, and I think that you should know that your family thinks we're engaged. Surprise! Never been engaged before. This is all very sudden for me. So, okay, look, what I really came here to tell you was that I didn't mean for this to happen. I don't know what to do. I mean, if you were awake, I wouldn't be in this mess. Not that I'm blaming you. Oh gosh, no, no, no. I'm sorry. It's just that when I was a kid, I always imagined what I would be like or where I would be or what I would have when I got older. And normal stuff like I'd have a house and family and things like that. But not that I'm complaining or anything either though, because um I have a cat. I have an apartment, sole possession of the TV remote, very important. It's just that I never had anybody that I could laugh with. You ever fall in love with someone you never talked to before? Have you ever been so lonely that you spent the night confusing a man in a coma? Good talk. And,
Madison. That was so nice.
Thank you.
Wow, that was a big difference between the two. I totally felt when you got to the part where you were talking about the sole possession of the remote, like I felt for you that because it was such a contrast to the way you had been at the beginning and your smiles and your kind of awkward, like, yeah, all worked so well. So that when you got to that very personal moment, it really resonated deeply. And slowing the pacing down there worked beautifully. That's when you wanted to slow it down, as we could see you processing how you were feeling. Really nicely done. That was a good adjustment. Really, really good adjustment. And thanks for being willing to let me kind of be tough on you and push you a little bit. And again, we don't push the ones that we don't think are capable. So always take that as a sign of positivity, because we push because we think there's more we can get from you. So that, just be encouraged by that. But that was really, really, yeah, people are saying great adjustment. The layers of work really showed. I fully agree. You took direction really well. And that's a very important part of the audition process, for sure. So nice job. Good job. Thank you. Thanks for sharing with us.
Thank you.
Appreciate it. Okay, awesome. Okay, Katie. Our next person is Katie. Katie. Katie Bodenhamer or Hammer. You'll have to tell me which it is.
There we go. A hammer.
Okay, Bodenhammer. Okay,
Yes,
great.
like
Hi,
hammer
how are
time.
you?
I'm
I
good.
love it, hammer time.
Okay,
Um,
Katie. My uncle sings that all the time.
I love it. I love it. Well, your lighting looks great.
Thank
Your
you.
color behind you is good. So that's all wonderful. Where are you, Katie? Where are you based?
My home is technically in Los Angeles. Been out there 13 years. But honestly, with self-taping, I've been at home in Nebraska for 4
Okay.
months with family on the farm. I'm a
How nice.
cowgirl.
It changes the quality of life, right?
Yeah.
When you really, especially the difference between Nebraska and LA. LA can be just, it's expensive and it's go, 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 and it's a different pace. And so, yeah, to be
Right.
able to go where you can be centered and surrounded by people who are in your corner and remind you what's
Yeah.
really important and balance out that part of your identity. I totally get that. That's why I'm in Meridian, Idaho, is the same
Yeah.
reason. I go to LA when I need to, but it just balances things out. So I totally get you, girl.
Exactly. I know
um,
if you're around like your grounded people, I think it only helps
Mhm.
the acting and the art, and
Mhm.
it feeds into a lot of areas. Yeah.
I think it certainly can help you from getting burnt out and
Mm.
getting overwrought, or when everything is all about that, it just can become too much pressure, too much importance, too much life or death with every audition. It just can
Right.
consume you. So it's nice to be in a place where you can have a balance, for sure. And certainly you can have that in LA, but it can be more difficult,
Right.
that environment, for sure.
Right.
Well, cool. Okay, so how long have you been pursuing acting?
I've been doing the TV film stuff for 13 years in LA.
All
And then
right.
I did theater growing up, through grade school. I went to a one-room schoolhouse, so we would put on little programs like all the time. If that's professional or not, I don't know.
I love it. Well, it's all experience, though.
Yeah. Yeah.
It all contributes to who you are, not only as a person, but as an actor. So
Right.
that
Yeah.
that's
And I did
great.
community theater and some
Mhm.
productions in college too. And so then I was like, "Okay,
Awesome.
I'll try
Well,
LA."
cool. Katie, I'm excited to see you do your thing. And let's see. Audio and video not in sync. Are you guys having any trouble with it's okay on my end, so I think we're okay. Okay. All right. Diego's telling us we're okay, so we'll move
Okay.
forward. All
Okay.
right. So you take your time and then just go into your piece whenever you're ready.
Okay. The tone's gonna change a little bit.
Please take your time. I totally
Okay.
get it. Take your time.
Okay. So I jump ship in Hong Kong, make my way over to Tibet, and get on as a looper at a course in the Himalayas. I tell them I'm a pro jock, so who do you think they give me? The Dalai Lama himself. 12th son of the Lama. I mean, the flowing robes, the grace, bald, striking, really. So I'm on the first tee with him. I give him the driver. He hauls off and whacks one. Big hitter, the Lama. Long into a 10,000-foot crevasse. Right at the base of a glacier. But what do you think the Lama says? Gunga, Galunga. Gunga, Gunga, Galunga. So we finished the 18th, and he's going to stiff me. So I say, hey, Lama, how about a little something, for the effort, And he says, oh, there won't be any money, but when you die on your deathbed, you will receive total consciousness. So I got that going for me, which is pretty nice.
Good. Fun. Cool. Okay. I really just want to play with it. There's a million ways you could go with this piece. And so obviously that was very appropriate and works and was great. So I'd love to play with it, but I do want to ask you, who are you talking to?
I'm talking to like the new guy at our resort, and I'm trying to impress him. And it's like, I think I'm a top dog, but really I'm not. So it's like this misplaced confidence.
Okay.
Yeah.
Does she know that?
No. I think she's learning everything, and she's, well.
So she legitimately thinks she's a top dog.
Oh, me. Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think, yeah, legit. I think I'm a top dog.
Okay. All right. Tell me the emotional journey.
I think it's kind of bragging about myself, but playing it cool, and then getting more and more impressed and playing it less cool as I talk about.
Okay. So let's put that in emotional terms.
Okay.
So bragging about yourself is what emotion?
Proud.
Okay. She's proud of herself.
Yeah.
She's feeling pride. She's feeling accomplished.
Yeah.
Where does it go?
And then it goes to impress, excitement.
Okay.
Like overwhelming excitement. It could.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. And then where does it end?
And then a little deflated, but then super proud again. Super honored.
Okay. Okay. So when she says, so I have that, she's sincere in that. She's not being sarcastic or facetious.
No.
Okay.
I could play it like that, but I think she's sincere.
No, I don't necessarily need to change that, but it came across a little sarcastic and facetious.
Oh.
So if that's not what you were intending, then maybe we need to play with that a little bit.
Okay.
Because I got the pride and sort of the arrogance, but it came across like the whole thing was being sarcastic about
Oh.
about that, and the enlightenment like totally So yeah, I got that. Whoopie doo, kind of thing. So if you really, if again, there's no right or wrong choice. Like, I'm not here to tell you your choice is wrong, but it is good to know if the choice you were making didn't necessarily come across the way you had intended. So really embrace the honor it is.
Okay.
And I think it might have been the physicality that you chose to like do the hands up, which is again kind of reads cocky arrogance. And cocky is often like sarcastic, braggart, sort of, and maybe find a way to make that more sincere and make that more heartfelt. Like, this was a
Uh-huh.
big deal,
Yeah. Uh-huh.
So
Okay.
again, so it does have somewhere to go.
Got it. One of my favorite movies is Dumb and Dumber. So I guess that was kind of how I was interpreting the first, like, bought this hog.
Yeah.
But
I see
the
what
words
you're
are
saying. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. But I
Again,
see what
not
you're
a
Yeah.
wrong choice,
Okay.
but I didn't necessarily connect to it in a way that I felt the character was being proud and sincere at the end
Right.
and honored by having that gift. So let's play with that.
Right.
Let's find a way to communicate that piece of it.
Okay. A little more humble. Okay.
Well, just sincere,
Yeah.
maybe because the end felt like a lot like the beginning, very sort of
Yeah.
braggart, and I don't know that we want it to feel like the beginning,
Okay.
right?
Okay. Right. Right. Okay. Okay. We'll play with
Play with
it.
it. Yeah. This is a huge honor. You
Okay.
can't believe the Dalai Lama
Mm-hmm.
gave you the gift of consciousness.
Yeah.
Complete consciousness. Like,
Yeah.
who gets that?
Right.
She doesn't have that, right? This new kid, she doesn't have that.
Uh-huh. Right. Okay.
You have it
Yeah. Yeah. Okay.
because you're that special.
Right.
Okay?
Okay.
Play with it.
Okay.
Go ahead.
So I jump ship in Hong Kong and I make my way over to Tibet. And I get on the course as a looper in the Himalayas, but I tell them I'm a pro jock. And so who do you think they give me? The Dalai Lama himself. 12th son of the Lama. What? I mean, the flowing robes, the grace, bald, striking. So I'm on the first tee with him and I give him the driver. And he hauls off and whacks one. It's a big hitter, the Lama. Yeah, it's long into a 10,000-foot crevasse right at the base of a glacier. But what do you think the Lama says? Gunga Galunga. Gunga Gunga Galunga. So we finished the 18th, and he's actually going to stiff me. So I say, Mr. Lama, how about a little something, for the effort, And he says, so there won't be any money, but on your deathbed, when you die, you will receive total consciousness. So I got that going for me, which is nice.
Nice. That was good. It read completely different for me. I don't know about anybody else, but it read completely different. It had that sense of like even the Gunga Delunga or whatever. And David, I think David Hansen is talking about it pronounced llama, but I think it was a creative choice that you were
It
saying
was.
llama, right? So
Yeah.
that was a character choice. But yeah, no, when you took at the end and you were like getting overwhelmed with what remembering, him giving you this total consciousness, this gift, it came across clear that way. That was really fun. And in the beginning, and that's when it is amusing because you are so satisfied with yourself that it does
Yeah.
become comical. So that was very nice. Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah, I like the way you did the second take. It was the right character choice, wonderfully different. So yeah, everybody's reading that. And that's a very common thing in that. And this is why we do this kind of a thing and why you want to be in an environment where you're able to get feedback because you knew your choices. What you didn't know was that they weren't necessarily reading the way you had intended. And
Mm-hmm.
so all you needed was to know, okay, that needs to adjust slightly. So you weren't actually changing the character choice. You were just refining how you communicated it to be more consistent with that choice.
Right.
So yeah, that was really nice. It was fun, very different between the two. And both, quite honestly, the sarcastic, arrogant could have worked.
Yeah.
But I think the choice you made on that second take was far more interesting.
Okay,
It's
good.
far more fun to, I think, watch someone who is so misguided about, their own self-importance that
Right.
that it makes this amusing for us as the audience, for
Right.
sure. So
Nice.
nice work. Nice
Thank
job.
you. I've wanted to meet you forever, so this is so cool. So
Yay, this is
thank you.
fun. I appreciate it.
Yes.
And Bodenhammer, Hammer,
Hammer. Hammer.
Bodenhammer,
Yes. Hammer.
Bodenhammer. Hammer time. I'll always remember
Yeah.
that. She told
There
me
we go.
hammer time.
Hammer.
Bodenhammer. Okay.
Yeah.
Katie, awesome. Good job. Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Okay. Awesome. Great. So fun. You guys, I could do this for hours and hours and hours. Okay, but I can't because we're already over an hour. Okay, Ulysses Laramendi. It's all about you, my friend. Hi, Ulysses.
Hi, Bev. How are you?
It's good to see you.
Good to see you.
Yeah. Well, tell me where you are. Remind me where you are.
I am in the next town where you're going to have the creative exchange.
Oh,
I'm in Houston, Texas.
I love it. Yeah. I think Houston is rising up to the top for sure. So that's awesome. Great, great. Well, tell me, you've been pursuing acting for a while, yes?
So I did college stage work in my 20s. Now I'm in my 60s and started doing film about 10 years ago. So took a break to make a living for a couple of decades in there, and then went back to
Yeah.
my passion. And I'm still in a business, but I'm trying to retire and exit that so that I can pursue
Yeah.
more. So that's the stage of my life right now.
Well, you do what you can with what you have,
Right.
right? At the time you have it. So that's awesome. Okay, well, we're gonna let you. Oh, Diego says Texas is definitely up there for the next creative exchange. So hopefully that's it. Yes. All right. Well, you take your time and you can go into your piece whenever you're ready.
Your Honor, there's a lot of things I'd do different if I could. Just like there's a lot of things we wish we could change, but we can't. Once things are done, they can't be undone. My wife, ex-wife, she says that she loves Billy. I believe she does. But I don't think that's the issue here. Uh, if I understand it correctly, what means the most is what is the best thing for our son? What's the best thing for Billy? My wife always says to me, used to say to me, why can't a woman have the same ambitions as a man? And I, I think you're right. Maybe I've learned that much. But by the same token, I want to know what law is it that says that a woman is a better parent just by virtue of her sex? I mean, think about it. What is it that makes a parent? What is it that makes a person a good parent? It takes constancy. It takes patience. It takes listening to them. It takes pretending to listen to them when you can't even listen anymore. And it takes love, like she said. But I want to know where it says that a woman has a corner on that market and that a man has any less of those emotions that a woman does. Look, Billy has a home with me. I've made it the best I can. It's not a perfect home. I'm not a perfect parent. I'm not very patient. Sometimes I forget he's just a little kid. But then we get up in the morning and we have breakfast, and he talks to me then, and we go to school, and at night we have dinner together, and we talk, and I read to him, and we have built a life together, and we love each other. So if you destroy that, Your Honor, it may be irreparable. So I'm asking, Joanne, don't do that, please. Thank you.
Good. Nice scene. That's a good piece for you. A really good piece for you. I like that. I'd love to play with the middle section a little bit. There's a point at which you, for a brief moment, seem to get a little remorseful when you said, sometimes I'm not patient, something like that. It's right before you start type, but then we wake up in the morning and we have, it's
Sometimes I'm
right.
not very patient. I'm not a perfect
I'm
parent.
not a perfect parent. Exactly. I would love to lean into that vulnerability in that moment even more. Allow yourself to think to a very recent occasion where you weren't a perfect parent, where you made a mistake, where you were too harsh, where you jumped on him. Allow yourself for that flash to realize that and to accept that and to let us feel that regret. And see that vulnerability in that moment. But then let us see the joy of the morning and the breakfast and these great times, because you are fairly intense the whole way through, and part preceding those moments you get a little angry. At least that felt to me, if that was intentional, but it felt a little like you got a little angry. So I think by giving us that vulnerability and then those moments where we just see, I love my son. We have a great relationship. We do these things and it matters. And let us see the tenderness of your relationship. Let us see the beauty and the joy of side of your relationship.
Gotcha.
And then ask her not to take that away.
Okay.
Okay.
All right.
All right.
Your Honor, there's a lot of things I would do different if I could. Just like there's a lot of things we wish we could change, but we can't. Once things are done, they can't be undone. My wife, ex-wife, she says she loves Billy. I believe she does. But I don't think that's the issue here. If I understand it correctly, what means the most here is what's important and what is best for our son, what is best for Billy. My wife used to always ask me, oh, why can't a woman have the same ambitions as a man? And you know, I think you're right. And maybe I've learned that much. But by the same token, I want to know what law is it that says that a woman can be a better parent just by virtue of her sex? I mean, what is it that makes a person a good parent? It takes patience, it takes constancy, it takes listening to them, it takes pretending to listen to them when you can't even listen anymore. And it takes love, like she said. But I want to know, where does it say that the woman has a corner in that market and that a man has any less of those emotions that a woman does? Look, I Billy has a home with me. I It's not a perfect home. I've done the best I could. Uh, I'm not a perfect parent. Sometimes I forget. I forget she's just a little kid. But then we get up in the morning and we have breakfast and we talk. He talks to me then and then we go to school and at night we have dinner together and I read to him and we have built a life together. And we love each other. And if you destroy that, it may be irreparable. So I'm asking, Joanna, please don't do that, please. Thank you.
Oh, very nice, Ulysses. Very nice. That was really nice. Having that shift in that moment just made us. Everyone's saying they're crying. You made them cry. But it did. It just Grace Covington said, "Give that man his kid."
What's ironic is that I have three wonderful sons
See, so you have a lot to pull from there.
well, yeah,
Um,
yeah, except that I've never had to fight for them in court, right? So
thankfully.
I
Thankfully.
thank God, yeah. So I drew from the people in my life that I've seen go through that dramatic experience.
Right.
Um,
Yeah, when you took that moment to be vulnerable and to admit your shortcomings for a moment and to be real, and then turn around and talk about the best parts of your relationship and how meaningful those things are and how important those things are, it really felt so heartfelt and so real and so intense, that you were bearing all because he was that important to you. And yeah, it was really nice. Very,
thank,
very nice.
thank you.
Yeah.
I don't
Good
know if
adjustment.
anybody's seen this film, but it's interesting that at the end of that story, which is an Oscar-winning film,
Yeah.
the court gives the child to her. You remember that? And
Yes.
she is the one that says, "No, you can have
Yeah.
it." Because Joanna is convinced, but the court is not. He loses that case.
Yeah, that's it. That's one of the things that is so powerful about that ending, is that it
Mhm.
isn't it's storybook in that in the end, you get it, but um it's kind of a sad commentary on sometimes that court
Right,
system that,
right.
that isn't always, well, what do you call fair, in a situation like that, a mom who loves a kid and a dad who loves a kid and, all of that. But um anyway,
Thank you and Diego for allowing me to do this. I really appreciate it.
it was beautiful and great adjustments and just leaning into that moment and being willing to and able to allow the emotion to come. It just was really nice. Really, really nice. Beautiful work. So
Appreciate
nice way to end our evening.
it. Thank you.
Good work. Well, you guys, what a joy. It's been great to do these tonight, and
So I'm the last one.
I know, I'm reading it says we have one more. I'm like, who's the
No,
one
I'm
more?
done
I'm
with it.
looking at my list. Diego, you kidder, you. But we commit to doing this on a more regular basis. I love doing it. I think it's great to see this live. I think we all learn, including me, we all learn from the process. So if you guys are game, we'll keep doing it on a more regular basis as well. So okay, next Tuesday, we won't have our Tuesday, but we might do a different night. We'll let you know for sure. Thanks again to Allie and Charles, Madison, Katie, Ulysses. You guys are rock stars. Appreciate you being willing to jump in with us. You all did a beautiful job. And as always, I appreciate the input and encouragement from our Tuesday night family. You guys are very insightful and so wise. And I appreciate you encouraging each of the performers as well. So we'll keep you posted about what is going on next week. And otherwise, I'll have a few stories from the Blue Ridge premiere and something interesting. In the meantime, have a great week. Have a really, really wonderful rest of your week. And just know that you are loved and valued and you are special and unique in this world. So, as I always say, be you, not them, because you are pretty awesome. So, love you guys. See ya.
Okay, let's go.